welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who's been liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. So today I'll just get right into it. So today I will be talking about how I passed my UK driving test in one attempt. When I first decided to get my UK license, I had no idea what I was getting into. The system here is quite different from back home. But all in all, there were two major hurdles I had to cross. I had to first pass the theory tests, which test your knowledge on road rules and hazard perception, and the second, which is the practical test, where you actually demonstrate your driving skills. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how I did it, my preparation strategy, finding the right instructor, and understanding exactly what examiners are looking for. So, if you're a female learner and new in the country, just like myself, I genuinely think you should watch this video till the end. When I decided to go on this journey, I think that was 2 years ago. And to get your full driving license in the UK, you need to sit for two tests. The first one is the theory where you answer some questions, is computer based as well. And the second one is the practical test. So you have an examiner in the car who's going to grade you as you drive. Um, well, the theory it's actually very easy to scale through. However, and I think this is where many people face lots of challenges, it's when you come down to the practical. And the fact that there's someone seated in the car with you, watching you drive and grading you, can make you feel nervous, anxious, and sometimes scared. To get your full driving license in the UK, like I said earlier, you need to pass two tests, the theory test and the practical test. And luckily for me, I had my theory test while I was pregnant, and that was 2 years ago. So I sat for the theory test and I passed in one sitting. And that was easy for me because when you register or when you apply for the theory test, there's an app that helps you prepare. So I always advise everybody I know who is going to sit for the exam, I advise them to answer all the mock tests on the app. Make sure you answer all the mock tests on the DVSA app. It is very helpful. And 9 times out of 10, they are going to repeat certain questions from the mock tests. So when I sat for mine, some questions were repeated. And because I had already gone through the questions several times, while I was preparing for the exam, it was like a walk in the park. So guys, this is a screen record of the app just to show you what the app looks like. So you just search on your browser DVSA app. It will show you different apps. So this is the official DVSA theory test kit. It costs about £4.99, which is roughly £5. However, I don't think this wasn't the app I used when I was doing mine. I'll take you back to it. So I used this second one, the driving theory test 4-in-1 kit. This was exactly what I used. I think it cost me £5.99. So it's the in-app purchase is £5.99. So this was the app I used and it was easy. So I've already deleted it after I passed, but I just want to show you what it looks like. So when you open the app, it takes you to the login. So if you are a pre-existing user, you just type in your details. If not, you log in. Alright. So we'll go down to the practical test, and this video has more to do with passing the practical tests. And the first thing you need to know, or the first thing you need to do, is getting yourself a good driver, a very good driver. Now, if I go into the number of drivers I had over time before I settled for the driver who helped me pass, this video is going to be like an hour long. Guys, it's going to be like an hour long, so I won't go that far. I'm not going to delve into the details of how I was able to get the good driver who helped me. But one thing I assure you, it is not underestimated. It is very important that you get yourself a very good driver. So my driver is very young. I think it was 21 or 22. and his insurance, because of his age, his insurance was a bit high, and that price reflected back, you know, on the price of his instruction. So I was paying £38 per hour, guys. £38 per hour.
It's expensive.
So that was what I was paying for. And I think initially my husband thought it was a bit expensive, but I insisted because I had been through 5 different drivers. Guys, I have been through, or rather, I had been through 5 different drivers before I met the driver who helped me pass. And so I knew there was a huge difference. And even though it was like sometimes £5 higher than other drivers, I was happy to continue because he was a good driver and a visual teacher as well. So he was teaching me visually. He was making use of visual aids, which helped me recollect a lot of things. So do not underestimate the importance of a good driver. And personally, I would advise that you have an hour lessons with different drivers. You have to treat it like you're dating, guys. You have to treat it like you're dating, because this is a driver who probably you'll be with for 20-hour training, 40 hours, 50 hours, depending on how fast you are in learning. So I would advise that before you settle for a driver, I strongly advise that you have an hour lessons with different drivers. Treat it like you're dating, like you're trying to settle for a boyfriend. So, so 1 hour lessons with all the drivers you have, and then you now settle for and then commit to the best of them. I 100% recommend. So, the second thing I did that helped me pass was making sure I researched the reasons other people were failing. So if you are living in the UK, you know that the practical test aspect of the driving, test is sort of like a mountain. People see it as a big hurdle to cross, right? And one of the things that I had to do to help me know why people were failing was to go and look for the statistics of why people were failing. So I went online and I searched reasons, top 5 reasons for driving test failures, and I'm going to put it on the screen so you will see. Um, and it gave me a series of reasons, one of which was people not making use of the mirrors. And it helped me readjust myself mentally. So knowing what made other people fail helped me in avoiding those mistakes as well. So knowing those things helped me to be mindful of them. And as I knew it, it helped me, integrate that into my driving. And one thing I assure you is that the examiners here are very, very strict with observation. They are very strict with observation. One of the common reasons people fail is not using their mirrors. So it is recommended that every 5 seconds you glance through your mirrors. And as someone who drives, it's your eyes you use. So you just look at you quickly glance at the mirrors. And that's one of the reasons why I was very appreciative of my driver. Because when I was learning, my instructor, when I was learning, and he would say, "You've not looked at your mirror." I would say, "I looked, I glanced at it." He said, "No, you know you've looked at it, but from the examiner's point of view, he doesn't know you've looked at it." And he would tell me to always exaggerate my actions, always exaggerate. Don't assume that your examiner knows that you've done it. You have to show him that you've done it. So knowing that people failed because they don't use their mirrors helped me exaggerate that. So when I was driving on my test day, I was always exaggerating, making sure he could see that I was glancing at all mirrors. So having that knowledge, of why people were failing their practical tests helped me avoid those mistakes. So having that at the back of my mind helped me when I was preparing for mine. So I was always conscious of the fact that I needed to look at the mirrors every 5 seconds. So it was very helpful. And one of the best ways to learn is not to wait until something has happened to you, is to learn from the mistakes of other people. And that was what I did. I went online, browsed, researched, and tried to find out the top reasons why people were failing their tests. And when I had that information, I tried as much as possible to incorporate it into my driving. The third thing I did, the third thing I did, I don't, what the third thing I did to help me pass was, and this, I think this was also very important. I needed to know what we were being marked on. I needed to know what we were being graded on. So I didn't want to also go into the practical test blindly, not knowing what is expected of me. So I went online and I think I went to the DVSA site, and there's a marking guide, So on the site, it shows you what you are being marked on. So you know what you are expected to do, you know what the examiners are expecting of you. And I kid you not, I think I went through that marking guide about 3, 4, 5 times before my exam, before my test day. I went through it about 5 different times. I just was cramming, was keeping it, looking, going through it, trying to understand what was expected of me. So that also helped me because at least I knew that, okay, my examiner is going to be expecting me to do this, and this is what I have to do. So it also helped me on my test day. 100% recommend. So guys, this is another tip, but not part of my 4 tips. It's just an extra tip. And I would always advise people to increase the frequency of their practice. And this takes me back to the first point, which is getting a good driver. And a good driver is not just someone who is good at teaching, it's someone who is also flexible and can work with your time, right? So I was practicing after work. In fact, guys, I drove in different weather conditions. I drove late at night. I drove around 8 when everywhere was already dark. I drove in the rain. I say I drove. I drove, guys. Hey! Number one offense! I drove in the rain. I drove in the snow. I drove when, the day was bright. I drove when, it was very dark. So I had 1 hour, 30 minutes drive lessons almost every day. I think sometimes 5 days a week or 6 days a week. So, and a week before my test dates, I had everyday practice till my test day. So I was driving every day till my test day. So it's also very important that as you're looking for a driver who is good at what they do, or a driving instructor who is good at what they do, you're also looking for a driving instructor whose time fits into yours, who is also very flexible. So guys, the fourth thing I did that helped me pass, and I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, this is shallow, but the truth is the truth. How you feel about the truth doesn't make it any less true, right? And fact is fact. This is backed by research. So I think about a week or two before my practical test, I bumped onto this. I don't know what I was searching online, and I bumped into this paper in about beauty bias and how we as human beings, we unconsciously already have an opinion of someone just by looking at them. And I played into that. So usually I'm not a very fashion conscious person. I really don't care about what I wear because I've always believed that I look fine. I'm beautiful I'm facially beautiful. So I think that for me that's always been it. I've never cared about any other thing. But going into this, like bumping into that, that paper, after reading the paper, I had to research further, and I got to find out that there is something called the beauty bias, and whether we like it or not, we automatically or subconsciously or unconsciously, I don't know which word is right, but somehow we tend to believe good-looking people are better people, good-looking people are good people. So what I did was to play into that bias and made sure I looked good on my exam day. So I'm going to put up a picture of what I looked like the day I went to take my test. And to some people, you would say, oh, You don't look any different. But to me, I think I put in a lot of effort. I had to go in with my eyeliner, blah blah blah. I don't even know how to apply makeup, guys. I don't know how to apply makeup. I'm a 28-year-old lady who doesn't even know how to use primer, concealer, foundation. I don't know how to use any of that. So I just tried to, I put in more efforts than usual on that day. I looked good. And I think when I came, when my instructor came to pick me to take me to the test center, he couldn't recognize me. He was a bit, wow, you look good. And it felt good to hear. So anyway, I got to the exam center, met my examiner who was a man, and we went on the test routes. I think it lasted about 60 minutes, about roughly an hour thereabout, not up to. And when we started, when I started the test, he was just very nice. He was very nice. He asked me questions. Where do you work? What do you do? And we started talking. He was still grading me on his marking guide, but his questions helped me relax. So I relaxed and eased into it. He asked about my work, what I do for a living, why I'm interested in passing the exam and all that. So we got into a conversation. And I remember when I got back, I told my husband, see the conversation I had with my examiner. He was like, you're lucky. Most of the times, they're always very strict and keep a very straight face. They don't even show any emotions. So, to a large extent, I'd like to think that my beauty, I don't want to say my beauty, but I want to think that the beauty bias played, a role in him being receptive and helping me relax and ease into the test. So, guys, don't forget the four things I said helped me pass. Number one, getting the right driver. Getting and finding the right driver. Don't forget, guys, if you have to take an hour lessons, first of all, before committing to the instructor, very important. You have to treat it like you're dating. You have to test their abilities, test their capabilities before you now commit to one driver. And number two, don't forget, go online and find out why people fail their practical tests. So I think the list is updated every year. So you would want to go online today and find out why people fail their test in 2024, or the top reasons people fail their test in 2024. This is going to change everything for you, because now you have the information and it helps you incorporate that into your driving so you don't make the same mistakes. And the third thing I said, guys, the third thing that helped me pass was going through the marking guide. The marking guide, very important. I had to go through the marking guide to know what the examiner was expecting me to do, to know what he expected of me. That was also a game changer for me. Number four, don't forget, the fourth thing I did was to look professional. I didn't just go there tattered, looking all dirty, or looking, tired and whatever. I made sure I dressed well, I looked professional, and I looked good to go. Um, like I said earlier on, it sort of played into the beauty bias, because in a way people just will act, nice and good towards anybody who is good looking. So that helped me in a way. I'm not saying that's why I passed though, but I'm saying that it improved my chances. And extra tip I used, guys, the extra tip I gave, I said make sure you have frequent practice. If it's possible for you to have practice 5 days a week, please do that. Please do that. Having lessons once a week, twice a week won't take you far. You need to increase the frequency of your lessons. That is a top tip. It's an extra tip, but also a top tip that helped me pass. So this brings us to the end of today's video. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've learned anything from this video, please drop it in the comment section. Thank you guys. Thank you. So I want to say a big thank you to Uchechi and Catherine for their corrections of last week's video. Thank you. I've incorporated those corrections into today's video. Thank you so much. And everyone, please subscribe to my channel.